Welcome to the Urban Music Enthusiast Podcast, the space where urban culture, music, film, and storytelling collide. I'm your host, B. Sims, and every episode I shine a spotlight on the voices shaping our communities. Artists, actors, writers, and influencers who are making a real impact both locally and nationwide. If you love urban music, film, and TV as much as I do, you're in the right place. Be sure to subscribe, share, and join the ongoing conversation about the culture. Let's get into it. How has this journey been evolving from writer, producer to CEO felt for you? Because I imagine it's exciting, but I imagine it can be very heavy. And what has surprised you about yourself on that journey?
It's been really challenging because just from a practical standpoint, it's like I have three jobs, right? So I have a day job as a showrunner.
Right.
I have a secondary job where I develop projects as Felicia Pride. And I have a third job as running and growing Honey Chile.
This is so great. You know, and the funny thing, before we get started, I got this interview request. So I have a 6-week-old. My wife and I just had our first baby.
My goodness, congratulations.
Thank you. So we were in the hospital. She was experiencing contractions for the first time. And I got the email and I was so excited. And I was like, let me wait in between these contractions to even bring it up. And I'm thinking she's going to be like, no, you're going to be on maternity leave. We're not going to have time. I read the email to her and I even read her your bio and she was like, let me respond in between the next contraction. And then after the next contraction, she was like, you have to do this.
Oh, well, thank you and thank her. And congratulations to you both. I
No,
love
of
that.
course. No, of course. So it's a beautiful time in life, to say the
That's
least.
amazing.
Beautiful.
And what a blessing, especially now. Like we want to hear all about this love and yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
and we got to hold on to joy right now. So I'm like this, it couldn't have
Absolutely.
been a better year for this, honestly.
Absolutely. That's amazing.
And so yes, we can jump right in. You know, this week has been really interesting. I've done a deep dive. We both read Come Close, and
Um,
we've watched both of I watched Tinder, watched
mhm.
Look Back at It,
Yeah.
multiple podcast episodes. So definitely been looking forward to this, and I'm a huge supporter of all your work.
Thank you. I
Okay.
appreciate that.
No, yes, I loved it. I loved Come Close. So in regards to that, like I guess what prompted you to release that work during this time in your life?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things. One, books are my first love.
Mm-hmm.
Really have established myself in the film and TV space for romance, but not
Mm-hmm.
in the book space. I have not written anything in the romantic genre.
Mm-hmm.
So this was an opportunity for me to write romance. I love
Mm-hmm.
romance in all forms.
I can tell.
So I was like, you know what? Yes. And then two, wanting to get into books for Honey Child, my production company.
Mm-hmm.
And three, wanted to write a book that also could be positioned to be adapted. So my goal is to adapt it into a film.
Film.
And so those were like the three main reasons.
Oh, I love that. Okay. And since the book is centered around Black love, and I hear that you love love, so do I. What is your personal relationship with love? Like, is it something that you would say is rooted in faith? Is it rooted in fear, hesitation? Like, what's the seed of that?
Well, when I say Black love, I do think of it expansively. So I think
Good.
about, yes, romantic love. I think about
Mm-hmm.
erotic love, but I also think of love of self. I think of love of community.
Mm-hmm.
I think familial love. I
Mm.
think friendship is huge in my work.
Huge. Yeah.
And I also think about love of art and spiritual. So I think of Black love in a very expansive way.
Expensive
I think
way.
of love in a very expansive way. And I would say that love to me is rooted in a truth. I think it's rooted in
Mm.
hope. I think it's rooted
Mm.
in resistance. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that it's rooted in desire. And I also define desire very expansively in terms of like the things that we truly want. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so yeah, the way that I look at love is very expansively.
That response could be a whole dissertation. I think that could free up a lot of Black women. That kind of takes me into questions I have about Honey Child. So, when was the seed for Honey Child, your production company, initially planted? And did you have the vision prior to this decade in your life? Because I know it is more specific to women over 40, but is
Yeah.
this something that was planted like before you kind of entered that decade? And how did that come about?
It wasn't. It definitely
Okay.
was planted when I was in my 40s. Honey
Okay.
will be turning 5 years old next year.
Mm-hmm.
And came out of a couple things. One, being in Hollywood and seeing, some of the shows with Black people in it,
Mm-hmm.
really enjoying them, but not feeling like they were capturing the conversations that I'm having with my friends at this age.
Mm-hmm.
and the experiences that I'm having. So it's like
Hmm.
I want to tell stories that represent me and my friends. That was part of it.
Of course.
Also, I'm a marketing major, so I think about audience, and I think it's hard to serve all Black women because we are
It
so
is.
different.
We
It's even
are.
hard to serve Black women over 40 because there's so
That is
much
true.
space, right? But for me as a marketer as well, I'm like, I want to start with a target audience. And
That's
Black
very
women
true.
over 40 have so many great attributes, including, social capital,
Hmm.
discretionary
Hmm.
income. Um,
Hmm.
and I always say honeys, and that's what we call our audience,
Hmm.
are Beyonce to Kamala. So when we
I
talk
like
about
that.
social capital, we talk about
Hmm.
influence, global influence,
Hmm.
honeys.
I like that. So, in one of those podcast episodes, I forget the title that I listened to that you kind of were featured in, you stated that your mission for Honey Child was the freedom of Black women.
Yes.
Why is that mission? Because I love that. Not a lot of people say that. Why is that mission so important to you?
I I, I think I mean one is very lofty, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
will
That's
we see
fair.
freedom in our lifetime? I don't know.
Hmm.
Um, at least it's external freedom, right?
I
I
see
think
what you're
that we
saying.
can achieve an internal freedom, right? In terms of
Hmm.
our locus of control, for sure. But I just feel like Black women have so much put onto them that
I agree.
that takes away their desires, that takes away
Hmm.
their dreams, that takes away
Hmm.
their just so much. And I just want us to be free.
I agree
And
with that.
what I have realized though, it's like, yes, I can put it into work, right?
Hmm.
But also I want to be walking the walk. So my personal goal is to be free. Like I personally want financial freedom and creative freedom. So
Yeah.
I'm on that path right now, and
Hmm.
I want Honey Child and all of those who work with
Hmm.
us to be able to walk the walk.
Hmm.
So it's part personal mission and part company mission as well.
That's beautiful. And it definitely brings a lot of things into context. I can understand that. So you're in your fourth year, going on the fifth year. How has this journey been evolving from writer, producer to CEO felt for you? Because I imagine it's exciting, but I imagine it can be very heavy. And what has surprised you about yourself on that journey?
These are such great questions. Thank you.
Yeah,
It's
I mean, I'm interested. I'm very interested in you and this entire thing.
It's been really challenging because just from a practical standpoint, it's like I have three jobs, right? So I have
Hmm.
a day job as a showrunner.
Right?
I have a secondary job where I develop projects as Felicia Pride. And I
Mm-hmm.
have a third job as running and growing Honey Child.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very challenging in terms of the amount of things that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's also very challenging from a practical standpoint when you think about Black women entrepreneurs and
Mm-hmm.
funding and resources. So that's
Exactly.
challenging. But I have been very encouraged by our Honey audience,
Mm-hmm.
people who see what we're doing
Mm-hmm.
and name it. And so that's the encouraging piece. But also, I look at it as also, I guess, from a practical standpoint, I don't know what Hollywood is going to look like in the next 3 to 5 years. And to
Right.
me,
Yeah.
what has happened is that underrepresented audiences started to get a taste of what it looks like and what it feels like to be represented.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hollywood was like, psych.
Taking it back. Yeah.
But that desire and that thirst does not go away.
That's
And as
true.
a creative, I want to be there to serve
Mm-hmm.
Honey in
Mm-hmm.
particular when Hollywood decides that they no longer
They
want to
don't
do.
want to fund it. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it's also uh, building for the future,
I can
building
respect that.
sustainability, not just for my career, but for my
Mm-hmm.
company. And also, yeah, being able to be in position to serve.
Okay. I like that. Is Honey Child, I know it's the fourth decade of life. Is there space for people who are approaching the fourth decade of life to kind of
Yes,
be
we
a
have
part
lots
on
of
the
honeys in
platform?
training in our
Okay.
audience.
Okay.
One of the things too is to, because aging is a luxury.
That's
Uh,
true.
Not a lot of us get to age. So we also want to be examples of what's possible after 40 for our
Mm-hmm.
honeys and trainings coming up. And also to be support systems, to be
Mm-hmm.
mentors, to be, I don't mind the word auntie. I know some people like, don't call me auntie, to be aunties to who's coming after us.
Yeah,
And so they don't have to recreate the wheel. They don't,
exactly.
our mommies and aunties just really did their best.
Hmm.
But also, no, didn't necessarily always have the language to
I
speak
agree.
to their experiences or the space to speak to their experiences. So now that they've
Hmm.
been able to give us that space,
Hmm. Hmm.
I want us to take full advantage.
I love that. I love that. I'm definitely going to reach out to, I don't know if Erica's your agent or whoever she is, but I'm definitely going to reach out to her about those opportunities because I'm
Yeah.
not 40 yet. I'm 37, but I'm like,
Yes,
this
be
is,
coming.
I mean,
God
I feel like
willing. And like that's I'm like, this
I
is a
know,
beautiful thing, right? Like
I
to
feel
be,
like I'm almost there. So yeah, so
yeah.
in addition to Come Close, which like I said, I loved it. I read it in like a day.
Thank you.
Like holding my baby and
Oh,
feeding and all of this.
that makes
But
that warms my heart.
what other upcoming projects, TV, film, books, are you most excited about, like Q4 and into 2026?
I am very excited about the Come Close, the film adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned Look Back at It, which we,
I
you know,
love that.
filmed in East Baltimore, and we have a film adaptation of that. So I'm really excited about
Oh.
getting that off the ground. And, some of our Baltimore collaborators are really excited about us coming
Mm-hmm.
back to Baltimore to film the entire feature. So those are two projects that I'm really, really excited about. Honey Child just also released like at first, our first kind of product. A
Hmm.
lot of people are always interested in my pivot, how I moved to Hollywood at 35 years old, that whole
Big deal.
story. So
Yeah.
we
Mm-hmm.
created a podcast series, a private
Mm-hmm.
podcast series called the Pivot Playbook. So we
Mm-hmm.
just that. So I'm really excited about that. And then I'm going to be working on another romance, this time a novel,
Mm-hmm.
full-blown novel
Cool.
that I'm
Yeah.
working on. So I'm excited about that. And then I have a bunch of film and TV projects.
You are extremely busy. You're extremely busy, and I love that. I think you touched on two things. One, it's really important for Black women to know that we have the freedom to pivot.
Yes.
Think that women, not even just Black women, get locked in. We feel like we have to do this one thing to support ourselves and our families. And I think even hearing your story that you're making this pivot like mid 30s and then even opening the door for other women in their 40s is like, that hasn't really been done. People just silence women as we age. And then
They
we just
do.
become like a product of like who we're taking care of, like our children.
Ooh, talk about
And
it.
it's heavy. I mean, I only just became a mom 6 weeks ago, but even even in this 6 weeks, I have never been asked so much about my child, and now noticing that no one asked about me. And
Ooh.
it's like, I'm not even years in, but I understand how women,
Uh,
can lose themselves. So I'm like,
uh,
this is interesting. Like my story, I'm like, it matters. It matters to my wife. You know what I mean? But now my story is like my baby. So that's why I'm like, I think it's beautiful that you pivoted and you're promoting this freedom because women do lose themselves in their caregiver roles.
I thank you
So
for
yeah.
that. And that is really deep. And all these types of things are the types of topics and conversations that I just think
Hmm.
so important to explore in the work. Um,
No, they are.
so I,
And I
I
think
love
you're doing a
what you're
good job.
saying.
No, you're doing a good job. I'll do a couple more questions because I don't want to hold you up.
Yeah, thank you.
No, of course. So you are balancing a lot, like I said. What do you do? How do you stay grounded and creatively fueled while you're occupying all these various verticals?
Yeah, how I stay grounded. I think Baltimore helps with a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
Just being in connection with my family,
Mm-hmm.
my friends.
Mm-hmm.
Because Hollywood is a uh it's not real. It is
I've
not
heard,
a real
I've
place.
heard, I've
It is
heard.
a very weird place.
Yeah,
I'm just putting that nicely. It is
I know.
it's very toxic.
Hmm.
Um and it can eat you alive if you do not have a strong sense of self and a
Mm-hmm.
strong center and a strong grounding.
Mm-hmm.
I also am a very big advocate of therapy. I started therapy 8 years ago. I've been going every month for 8 years with my
Mm-hmm.
Black woman therapist that I found on Therapy for Black Girls
Mm-hmm.
directory. Therapy changed my life. It really helped to give me tools and a space to
Mm-hmm.
process and talk through a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things that I'm going through. Also, I think my North Star helps to ground me, which is to help Black women get free. And I can do that
Mm-hmm.
in all kinds of ways. Hollywood is just one way that I do
That's
that.
true.
Oh,
That's
and
very
so
true.
that helps me to have a detachment to Hollywood that a lot of people just don't have.
That's
Like
true.
I'm like I could leave tomorrow.
You can
You know what I
leave
mean?
because you have
I'm
something else.
always able to. I'm always like I could walk out the
Hmm.
door. So that helps me to not internalize so much
Hmm.
the wildness going on around me.
Yeah, that's
Um,
beautiful. Yeah.
yeah.
And you have to have that. I love Baltimore, by the way. I'm always trying to convince my wife to move there because we live in PG. She wants
Oh,
to move.
PG.
Yeah, we live in PG.
What
She
part of
wants
PG?
Hyattsville. She wants to move to
Hyattsville.
DC. I'm like, I want to move to Baltimore.
I mean, I lived in DC. I moved to LA from DC. Baltimore is definitely a lot less expensive.
I
Um,
like it. And it's very
they get
black.
that
It's still
train
very
going.
black. Yeah,
Shoot, everybody gonna be living in Baltimore.
that's very true. So
But
that's
I
very
actually have
true.
I had a pilot about at Netflix about PG. It was a gated community in Bowie. I just think PG is so interesting. We don't talk about it enough.
We
Like,
don't, and it's changing a lot. It has changed a lot recently. So that's
I
kind of, yeah,
believe it. I
that's
believe
kind of.
it.
So I wanted to ask you one last question. So when your name is mentioned in rooms when you're not present, what do you hope it conveys about who you are?
She is about what she says.
Hmm.
She is kind and she's really fucking good at what she does. And she loves Black people.
There you go.
Those are the four things.
I mean, that's something very heavy. I like that. I like that. Okay. Is there any opportunity, I guess, going forward? Do you see like any opportunities for Honey Child? I know you already said for kind of people coming into the 40s. Are there opportunities and spaces for like different sectors of Black women, like maybe sober honeys or honeys like in recovery, things like that? Are there, I don't know, I know you've already done so much in 4 years that it's going to be built out in ways to kind of support the different sectors of Black women.
That's a great idea. I haven't thought about it in that
Yeah.
way.
I
But
mean, even, yeah.
I think being able to provide editorial and
Hmm.
program to reach a broad swath of Black
Hmm.
women, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely going to keep watching. I'm tuned into the podcast and I signed up for the newsletter. So
Thank you.
anything that comes up, I would definitely love to be a part. I think you're doing amazing work.
Thank you so much, Brittany. It's a pleasure and
No,
congratulations again. That's
no,
amazing.
it is. Thank you. And I
I'm
look forward
always like,
to, yeah.
babies are so amazing. Like when you really think about it, it's like, it's amazing.
I mean, it is amazing, but it is heavy, is what I'll say.
Oh,
I think
I
there's days, there's moments where I'm like, I can't believe we did this, even though we've been talking about this since we got married. But I'm still
yeah,
like, I
I
can't
can
believe
imagine it's something you can't fully know until you're in it.
until you're in it. Are you a mom?
I am not.
Okay.
I am not.
Yeah, I feel like
I think I
whoever
passed the threshold and then I was like, fuck it, you
it's
know?
it's heavy. But I'll say this. I understand now why some women don't enter the journey. It
Mhm.
is very heavy, and I do think it requires a lot of support. And I'm like, I don't know how I could do this. Like, my
Yeah.
mom did it alone. If I didn't have my wife, if we didn't have the in-law, I'm like, it's all these things holding it together because I get how women could really break down.
Yeah, that village is so, and it's like we don't have it as much as we used to.
No, we don't, because we're all separated now. So
Yeah, very
that's
separated.
kind of tough. But
But I
no,
wish y'all both the best and little baby the
of
best.
course, of course. And I'll be following all your projects too, Felicia.
Thank you. I appreciate
I
it.
appreciate you. Well, enjoy your day.
All right, you too. Bye bye.